Hi everyone, this is Cody from Bridgecom Systems, and we're doing our weekly live stream here at Bridgecom. So today what we're going to be talking about is taking your radio, basically taking it from brand new in the box, out of the box, setting it up, and connecting to your local repeater. So we're going to go through that today, but first we'll do a few shout outs here. Let's see, we have Rick Smith from Scranton, Pennsylvania. Let's see, John McGinnis in Ireland. Echo India 2, Echo Bravo Bravo. Let's see. Let's see, we have Aiden Natal, good morning, from Carlsbad, California. Kilo November 6, Echo Juliet Mike. Jason Snyder, good morning from sunny Las Vegas, Nevada. Whiskey Victor 3, Victor. Awesome. Well, let's go ahead and get into it. So first, we're going to open up the radio here. So brand new, take it out of the box here. Okay, so it looks like we have some information. So we have our different user manuals and guides and Bridgecom University, but we're going to skip all of that today. We're going to show you completely live, just a basic setup. So we have our power cord here. We're going to need this in a second. Then I'm going to take the radio itself out of the box. So here's the radio. Get it ready. Then, let's see, there's some cables. We have a lot of different cables. Push to talk button. We won't need all of this right now. This is to charge the push to talk button. Bracket for our speaker mic. And some mounting hardware and fuses. And then here, this is what we're looking for, the programming cable. So we'll need that to go ahead and get set up. Then on the other side of the box here, we have our actual microphone, our speaker mic, so we're going to be using that for sure. And then GPS antenna, we're not going to set that up yet, at least in this video. And there we go, that's it, everything in the box. So then we also will need a power supply and an antenna. Now if you're doing this in the vehicle, you can just go ahead and wire this directly into your vehicle. You would use this cord, just wire it into the 12-volt system. Or you can get a power supply. So in this, today we're going to be using a power supply. So I've got one down here. I'm just going to get the radio plugged in here in a second. I do want to plug in the antenna first. It's a good idea to do that before turning it on. So I have a tri-band. Since this is a tri-band radio, I've got a tri-band antenna outside. And then here's the cord for that. So just go ahead and plug in your radio here. And it is a good idea to do this before the radio is turned on, so you don't accidentally, transmit and short something out, get yourself an RF burn. Don't want to do that. It's no fun. And then we'll take our cord and plug this into our power supply or wire it into our vehicle. So these would just go into the positive and negative ends on your power supply. And then this will plug into your radio. So I'm going to go ahead and plug the radio in here. Let's see. There we go. And as we can see, it's switched on, so it's wanting us to calibrate the date and time. You can go ahead and do that. Now, you can do that later if you want, so I'm just going to skip over it for now. That's what it'll look like when they're brand new. AnyTone. So while it's booting up, we can go ahead and get some other information out of the way. So we've got the radio powered on. Looks like it works. So let's switch over here to the computer and find out some of the information that we're going to need to actually program this up for our local repeater. Okay, so I'm going to open up a web browser. First thing we need to do is download the CPS. So that will be, we go to Bridgecom systems.com and then go to the support tab. Just up in the top menu bar. And from here we can scroll down, keep going until you find your radio. So we're doing the 578. Here we go, AnyTone 578 CPS and firmware download. So we're going to go ahead and open that up and let's see. Now here's the important part. We need to check to see what firmware is actually on the radio before we download the CPS for it. So to do that, it's quite simple here. We're going to, if we can You guys see the camera here? Okay, so on the radio itself, we're going to click Menu. And then before that, actually, I'm going to show you guys how to do something. You'll want to do this straight away if you're anything like me, and disable the beep. So just go to Settings, Radio Set, and then Beep, and we are going to turn it off because that gets pretty annoying. So after we're done with that, we can go down, just back out so you can see it from the start, go to Menu, and then down or up to Settings. And then we'll go down to Device Info. There we go. And I'm going to peel this little cover off so we can see the screen better. It's getting in the way. Don't forget to take this off. I've seen people leave that on for years. And then scroll down until you see firmware version 1.11. So that is the firmware that we want to download on our computer here. Looks like we have it here. So go ahead and click the ATD578UV CPS and firmware version 1.11. That should start a download. We'll just save it to our desktop. And these really aren't that difficult to get started with, these radios, folks. You know, if you want to get into all of the complicated features, it can be a lot more complicated. The actual entry point to getting on your local repeater is really pretty easy. So we have our zip file here. Just go ahead and right-click on that and extract all. That should just be built into Windows, your extractor. You don't need anything special here. There we go, extract. Okay, so here we go, opened it up, the extracted file. So you just want to go to the folder where it says CPS, so the 578UV version 1.11 CPS. Double click on that and then go ahead and run the application. Just double click on it. And you'll get this error message. Just go ahead and click more info. It's just a warning you that you're downloading something from, you know, outside the Windows Store. More info and then run anyway. And then go ahead and allow it and give it permission. Then select your language and go ahead and click next. Now this is slightly important. Sometimes this will try to install it on the D drive. I think generally I may have changed mine so it always installs on the C drive, but generally it tries to install it on the D drive, and you don't want that. So you want to, usually it would look like this. So you would want to go in here and change it over to the C drive because the D drive is just for recovery. It usually doesn't have very much space, and some computers don't even have it. So make sure you're set to the C drive. Then next, that's fine. And then we'll go ahead and create a desktop icon and install. So really the only thing you need to change there is just where it installs to. Then finish, I'm not going to launch it. And then I'll show you where it is. So we made that desktop icon so we can see it right here on our desktop now. So I can go ahead and open this up. And now before we program anything into the radio, we actually want to read from the radio. Now what can happen if you don't do this? Sometimes you'll get band errors when you try to write to the radio if the CPS and the radio are in a different band. But when you read from the radio, everything syncs up together and it works great. So if you have a fresh code plug, you're building one, or are importing something from somewhere, you always want to read from the radio first, and that way everything meshes up correctly. So we'll go ahead and first select this little icon here. It's the COM port icon in between the read and the write one. And then go ahead and we need to make sure the radio is plugged in. So we'll take our programming cable here, get it ready. They really wrap this one up good. There we go. And make sure you use the programming cable. There's one that has 2 USB ends on it. That's for charging the little push-to-talk button and the Bluetooth earpiece if you opted to buy one of them. Now this is the actual programming cable. There is a difference there. But any micro USB cable with support for data transfer will work. Just make sure it's not a charge-only cable. Then on the radio, I'm going to turn it so you can see. There's a little flap over here. Now these can be kind of difficult to get out. Sometimes, if you don't have very good fingernails, some are easier to get out than others. So you just pop that open. but I have seen people struggle. So if you struggle with that, just take something, you can take the bracket it comes with, or a little screwdriver or something like that. Just pop it out from the back side here, and then we can plug in our programming cable. Just like that. And then obviously our radio is turned on, so we should be set up there. Perfect. And we can see on our computer that it's now populated with COM port 3. So go ahead and click OK. And now we can click the button to the left there and read from the radio. Now don't need to worry about the digital contact list. And in fact, we're not going to even mess with that today. We're just going to do a simple setup. So just read the other data. And for those of you guys who are just getting into this and don't have a call sign yet, you can still do all of this, just minus the transmitting part. You can get your radio set up. You can listen to your local repeater. You just can't transmit. And I'll show you how to check the no transmit button so you don't accidentally do so. So okay, now we have read from the radio. So now it's time to go find the information that we need. So open up your web browser again. And first we're going to connect to a DMR repeater. So we will want to have our call sign and DMR ID. But first, let's get the repeater information. So go to repeaterbook.com. Now you can find these repeater information anywhere. Your local club may have it. You might find about it from a friend. But if you're just getting started, this is a great place to find repeaters. So then we're going to click North America repeaters. Obviously, just choose your location wherever you live out in the world. And it comes up. I love this interface. You can just click on the area you are. So we're in Missouri. And from here, I am looking for a DMR repeater. So you can segment this, if you want to search, if you only have a 2-meter radio, or maybe you only want to use 2 meters because you only have a 2-meter antenna, even though you have a dual band radio. Whatever type of repeater you want to use, you can segment it. So we're going to look for DMR. And then here we go. Now to find this really fast, you can do a Control F, and this is the KCI repeater. I know what I'm looking for, so I just found it right there, KCI Airport. It's actually moved a little bit up north here now. It's up in Trimble, but they still have it listed there. So just go ahead and click on the frequency on the left-hand side of that repeater you're looking for, and that will open up the expanded view of it. Here we go. There we go. There's some information. So let's go ahead and write down that information. So we have a downlink and uplink. So it looks like our downlink is 444.4625. And then we have a 5 megahertz positive offset. So our uplink is going to be 449.4625. So go ahead and write that down. There we go. And then let's see. We have our color code is 4, so that will be important. Go ahead and write that down. We've got our color code, and then let's see, is there any other information we need here? We do need to find out what time slot they want us on. Let's see. So, okay, down here in the notes. So, and each repeater should have all of this information in here. It says use time slot TS, that stands for time slot. Use time slot 1 for all other Brandmeister talk groups. So that's what we're going to be doing today, Brandmeister talk groups. So we are going to use TS1. time slot 1. Now we need to go find out our own information. So open up a new tab. If you know this, then great. If you don't, then go to, obviously you will have to know your call sign, but go to radioid.net, and that's probably the fastest way to locate your DMR ID. Then just go to database on the left-hand side, then scroll down a little bit. DMR user ID search, click that, and then just type in your call sign. So W3AMG. There we go, scroll down, and there I am. So we have a DMR ID for me of 3152688. So okay, so 3152688. So we have our DMR ID. Obviously, I know my call sign. I'm not going to write that down. So we should be pretty much set here. Now we will need to gather a little bit more information for the talk group. So today we're going to put in a few different talk groups. I'm going to show you guys how to get hooked up with the parrot, so that allows you to test it with yourself. Basically, it will parrot back to you. You can see if you got it working. The talk group disconnect, that will be essential for any talk groups you add. That way you can actually get out of them. And then we'll also try out the just local Missouri talk group. So the best place for that, there's a few places. I usually just search for Brandmeister talk groups and just find, Google will find it for you, pystar.uk here, and that's got a great list of all the talk groups. So let's find the parrot. So that shows us here if we do it, just Control F and search for parrot, or you can just scroll through them, but I like to search for them. We can see our talk group is 9990. So we'll make another list here. Let's see. And then we want our disconnect, so do another search. Disconnect, that is 4000, so. Okay, we've got our talk group there, and then I want to do one more talk group, the Missouri. So do a search for Missouri. There we go. So that is 3129. There we go. So we've got all of our talk groups. Now we know what we want to program in, so we can get out of there. And now it's time to go to the CPS. So once you have your radio, you've read from it. First up, we want to just add our different channels here. Actually, before that, we want to import our talk groups. So open up Digital, click that Digital tab, and then go to Contact/talk group right up here. Now it has one there, so you can get rid of that, or we can just put a second one. You have to have one in here or it won't work. So we'll do the parrot, and I'm going to change that to a private call. It doesn't really matter for that. So let's see. So we have a parrot of 9990, and then click done. I mean, it's really that simple to enter talk groups. Now you can import an entire list too. That's not a problem. There's people download big lists out there, but we're just showing a few simple talk groups today. And then we want the, just abbreviate it, TG disk for talk group disconnect, group call, and then let's see our number here. So that will be 4000. Click OK. And then we finally want our Missouri talk group, and we can leave that a group call, obviously, and that is 3129. Okay, So we're set there. Next, we want to scroll up a little bit, click the radio ID list under the digital section on the left-hand side. And then where it says DM radio ID, so you'll just double click on either one of those boxes. And that'll bring up this window here. So up here, we're going to put our DMR ID. So let's see, 315. I should have mine memorized, but the computers make it easy to not do that. 315-2688. And then under the radio ID name, I usually just put my name and call sign. And that works well. There we go. So now the radio is going to know who we are. And then there's one more simple setting that you want to change before we go ahead and write anything to the radio. We'll put the repeaters in here in a second. But you want to go to optional settings and then go to work mode. If you don't do this, you won't be able to see all your talk groups. You'll just see channel names, and you'd basically have to reference your list to the radio. It will be very, very confusing. So go ahead and change that first setting here, display mode. Change that from frequency to channel, and that will fix all of that for you. Okay, perfect. So now we go back up to channel, and now I'm going to work down here because no need to delete all them, but you certainly can. We're going to add our repeater. Okay, so let's add the parrot in here first. And then our receive frequency. So our downlink, obviously that's going to be the receive. So our downlink is 444-4625. There we go. And the transmit frequency, that'll be the uplink. So that's just 5 megahertz above, so 449-4625. And obviously you can just find that information on the repeater book website. Then we have digital, transmit power, we'll just keep it at high. Let's see, now you can, up here, this is what I was talking about earlier, if you don't have your license yet and you want to play around with this, but you don't want to accidentally get in trouble and transmit, you can turn on this PTT prohibit, and that will stop you from pushing the push to talk button. There we go. And then, so we're not going to do that, obviously. Now you want to select this contact over here and select the correct talk group. So these are all the talk groups we just entered. So click parrot, double click on that. And then we just need to change our color code. So we have a color code of 4. So change your color code there. Oops. And then time slot, we want time slot 1, so we are good to go there. So we have our first channel in here complete, so we're going to add our other channels. So just go ahead and repeat that there. And everyone can do this, folks. It's really not too difficult if you just follow along. And you know, if you need help with it, you know, we can certainly help you. But you know, play the video again, slow it down. It really is not super difficult. I know it seems like a lot looking at it at first. I remember when I got into it. Let's see, 446-250. That's right, isn't it? 25. Yep, perfect. And then we'll select our Missouri talk group. Time slot 4. There we go. And like I said, you can import lists of these that people have already done, but we're just going to show you how to do it the old-fashioned way here. There we go. 4625, and then our transmit frequency. And then this is the disconnect, so go ahead and double click on the disconnect. Change our color code. Now here's the thing where it really pays attention to double check all this, because if you forget one little thing in here, you forget to select the contact, you forget to select the color code. You know, if you were supposed to be on time slot 2 and you're on time slot 1, then it may not work or people may not be happy with you. So it really pays off just to double check this before you go ahead and say okay. And everything looks good here, I believe. there we have it. So we have our parrot, our Missouri talk group, and our talk group disconnect. So from here, we just have one more thing left to do. Go over to zone on the left-hand side. Double click on your zone. So I'm just going to get rid of everything they had in there, like that. And then I'm going to import the items that we just added. So the parrot, the Missouri talk group, and the talk group disconnect. Now, if you don't have something in a zone, you will not see it on your radio. So I've seen so many people get hung up with, well, I entered all this stuff, and where'd it go? It's not on the radio. So just make sure you put it in the zone, and you'll have a fantastic time. Okay, so at this point, just go ahead and click on the little COM port icon again. Make sure the radio is hooked up. It certainly is. And we can write this to the radio. Just write the other data. Here we go. This is exciting. So I guess at this point it says write data completed. So we can go ahead and get out our speaker mic and try it out. And we're just talking locally here, but the cool part is if you have a DMR repeater in your area, you can talk all around the world. They have a worldwide talk group. Just the same process we did here. You can talk basically anywhere on DMR. It is really neat. I was talking to someone from, overseas in London the other day. It is really neat. Okay. So go ahead and plug in your speaker mic. And let's see on the radio. So we have the parrot in our zone 1. And you can change the name on that zone if you choose to. So we'll make sure our volume is up at a reasonable level. We'll just max it out. And then you can cycle through your zone here with this knob. There we go. So we're going to try out the parrot. Now I've got this hooked up to an antenna outside. Shouldn't need the programming cable at this point. Just disconnect that. And here we go. Let's give this a shot. Okay. Testing 1, 2, 3. This is W3AMG trying out the local repeater here up north of Smithville. Let's see here. Oh, I did not have the speaker mic plugged in all the way. So make sure you get the mic plugged in all the way and you'll have better success. So let's try this again. This is W3AMG testing out the parrot on the local repeater here up north of Smithville. Okay, there we go. Oh, got something. Now let's double check here, make sure. So we have our parrot in the contacts section, because that can mess you up if you forget that. Do we have our color code correct on all of them? I'll just open them up here real quick. It may just need a second. So color code 4. Parrot is color code 4 times slot 1. Yep, everything looks good. So let's try that again. This is W3AMG testing out the parrot on the local repeater here up north of Smithville, Missouri.
This is W3AMG testing out the parrot on the local repeater here up north of Smithville, Missouri.
Perfect, there we go. So this thing really does get loud. Wow, that's incredible. So we turned it down a little bit. Hopefully it didn't hurt your ears, but so we've got it working. So it just needed a second, I guess, to connect to the Brandmeister servers. So we're on the air. So let's switch over to the Missouri talk group and see if we can hit anything. I'll show you how the disconnect works real quick. So if you go over to the disconnect, you basically key this up and it disconnects you from the talk group you're in. So each time you want to switch, you want to key up the disconnect and then you'll wait for it to say not linked. Now there is something interesting here. If you're on a hotspot, so this does not apply to repeaters, but if you're on a hotspot, you have to wait until no one else is talking because it's a simplex frequency in order for the disconnect to work. But we're on a repeater, so we don't have to worry about that. There we go. So you just key it up, the disconnect.
Not linked.
There you hear it, not linked. So we are good to connect to another talk group. So let's get on the Missouri talk group, see if we can catch anyone on there. This is W3AMG testing out the Missouri talk group. I just got my new radio set up. We'll give it a second here, see if anyone's on the air. Missouri. Try hitting it one more time here. This is W3AMG testing out the Missouri repeater. Anyone copy?
Loud and clear. K0KGW.
W3AMG to K0KGO. Heard you loud and clear. How's it going? Where are you from?
K0KGW from Southwest Missouri.
Southwest Missouri, there we go. Awesome, yeah, I am up here in northwest Missouri, just north of Kansas City, just setting up a new radio, trying it out here. DMR is a lot of fun. I'm enjoying it. How about you?
Yeah, not up to hardly anything here. Just heard your call and figured I'd come back to you there.
There we go. Awesome. Well, I appreciate it. You're sounding good. You have a good day now and enjoy some of this nice weather we have coming up. This is W3AMG clear on your final.
K0KGW is clear.
There you have it. That easy. So we were on the air. I don't know how long that took us. Let's see. In about a half hour, we were fully taking our radio out of the box. Knew really nothing about what we were doing. We got all the information we needed, and then we set it up. So if you guys want to ask some questions, I'd be happy to answer some questions. Can't guarantee I can answer everything, but give it a shot. We'll see what we can do. So ask some questions. And so basically what we did, we'll just kind of do a recap real quick. We took the radio out of the box, verified the firmware, got the right CPS for our computer. Once we had that, we went and got all of the information that we needed. So our different repeater information, and then our own information as well, like our DMR ID and call sign. Then we entered that in the radio, and then we wrote that to the radio. Just had to try things a couple times to get the Brandmeister server to work. So don't be discouraged. If you do it and it doesn't work, check everything and then try it again. And usually it will work. Sometimes the servers can actually go down, which that's another story. But generally they work great. And as we can see, they did today. Let's see. Have any questions coming in?
We have one question from earlier on. Martin Edwards Clark said, I'm new and don't have a call sign yet. Would you have any, recommendations on how he could get his call sign? Or maybe
Sure.
the easiest way?
Yeah, so we've got a question from, sounds like Martin Edward Clark. He asked, he's new and doesn't have a call sign yet. So absolutely, you can get started with this without a call sign. You just can't transmit. There's actually a feature called Digital Monitor, which we can go about that, talk about that in another video, but there's a lot of information out there. So you would basically turn that on and then hit that PTT prohibit so you can't accidentally transmit. And you'll be able to get on these repeaters and hear everything without transmitting. So you can absolutely get started while you're studying for your exam.
William Stinberg says, what is Brandmeister?
Okay, so we have a William Stimberg. He asked, what is Brandmeister? So Brandmeister is basically the server or the network that connects up all of these different DMR repeaters. So obviously in the old days you had analog repeaters and they might be linked up with a link radio or something like that, but now there's digital. So it's basically a digital network, links over IP or the internet, in a simple form, and is able to link all these different repeaters in all of the talk groups. So all these, the worldwide talk group, the Missouri talk group we just talked on, those are all part of Brandmeister. So that's what Brandmeister is.
Eric Johnson wants to know which antenna you're using.
Okay, I have a question from Eric Johnson. He wants to know what antenna we are using. So we are using the tri-band, the AnyTone tri-band antenna. You can get it with one of these radios. We actually just have it just outside the office here on a mag mount. It's really not in a great location, but it's an awesome antenna. It's kind of big, so obviously you can't use a mag mount on your vehicle. We've tried that, it doesn't work. Definitely don't recommend it. But you can get like trunk mounts for them and mount it that way. And the cool part, they also fold down. So if you want to pull in a garage or something like that, you can fold it down without taking it off. You just pull it up and then fold it down, and you can fit your car in a garage.
We get a question from Jory Pratt. What can you tell us about roaming mode?
Sure, we have a question from Jory Pat. Asks, what can you tell us about roaming mode? So these radios do have a roaming feature. Basically how that works, you would set up your different repeaters. They're not going to go out and find repeaters for you. Some people will ask us that. But if you have a list of repeaters, let's say you're taking a trip. I used to drive up to Iowa quite a bit, be along the road there. You can program in all those different repeaters along your trip and then turn roaming on, and it will automatically switch to the repeaters based on reception. It's not by location or anything, but when you start to get a weak signal, if there's one that has a stronger signal, it will just switch over to it.
And then John McGinnis says, hey Cody, I'm a member of BCU, got a radio set up and had a first QSO, but contact info wasn't displayed, just his DMR ID. I've added contact lists. Any idea what I did wrong? Cheers.
Sure. What was his name again?
John.
John. Yeah, John asked a question. Basically, he got his radio set up and made his first QSO, so congratulations. But he's not seeing the info displayed on the screen for the contact list. Now, we didn't import that today, so we didn't see any of that. That was intentional, but he has imported his and is not seeing it. So there's a variety of things that could be happening there. Most likely, if you're not seeing it, I guess it's really a matter of troubleshooting. If you're not seeing it from everyone, it may be the formatting's wrong on the list, or there's a variety of things that can happen. But usually what happens, if it's just a couple people, usually the list you have doesn't have their information yet. So it may be maybe they didn't get in the system yet, or it's an older copy of the list. So I would find out whoever you're talking to, get their call sign, and then go look in your list and see if they actually exist. And then, just a troubleshooting process from there. But you should be able to get it so it displays everyone. But congratulations on the first QSO. That was a lot of fun. I remember doing mine.
I think that's it. That's all the questions I see. Do you want to mention that we have we do have one more question.
Okay, one more question.
Jason says, great work, Cody. When using APRS, does it allow simultaneous TX and RX, or just APRS mode alone?
Okay, what was his name?
Jason.
Jason. Okay, we have a question from Jason asking, when you're using APRS, does it handle simultaneous transmit and receive, or just APRS alone? So I guess I'm a little bit vague what you're asking there. So for APRS, it will only receive, or I'm sorry, only transmit APRS. Now, you would set it up to transmit that APRS. So I guess I'm not entirely sure what you're asking. It's only going to transmit the APRS signal. It won't receive APRS. But you can certainly use your radio at the same time. You don't have to turn APRS on and then start using your radio, or stop and then start using your radio. It just all works simultaneously. As for the actual transmitting APRS and your radio at the same time, that's a great question. We'll have to look into that because I don't know if it will physically do those simultaneously. But certainly, from a user perspective, you don't have to worry about any of that.
Cool.
Okay.
So now I think that's it for questions. Will you mention that we have a giveaway going on, and the link is in the description?
Okay, so I think that is it for questions here. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. We actually have a giveaway going on right now. We've got the link in the description, so if you want to win some free awesome ham radio gear, make sure you sign up for that. But yeah, I've enjoyed having you guys around. Hopefully you've learned something. This video will be posted afterwards. It's not just live, so if you missed out on it or you have a friend who's struggling, we want to help you guys. So send them to this video. It's a great guide just to get you started with your ham radio. So I appreciate it. Everyone, take care, and 7-3.